I'd like to talk a bit now about lesson plan development using a smartboard in your classroom. Now, my motto, my number one saying is always that creativity is key. If you're going to use something like this in your class, it better be interactive and not just another way of putting data and putting information up on the screen without any way of the students actually getting up there and using it. So there we go. Creativity is key. How do we be creative? How do we find things like this? How do we get used to all of the elements that Smart Notebook has built in for us? Well, the number one place that I look for creative elements is in my gallery. We'll have a look at the Gallery tab. That's this over here. Notice this gallery is empty. The gallery that you should probably have will have a lot of different labels on it. You'll have your gallery essentials, where pictures, pages, other types of media can be found. You'll have your lesson activity toolkit, where interactive pages can be found. And you can edit all of these items. It just takes a little exploring. And if you aren't into exploring and starting off right from scratch, well, you can open up the Gallery Sampler, which is simply this right here. The Gallery Sampler will allow you to look at what previous people have done. So you can, for instance, look at some of the items in the activity toolkit and where other educators and developers have brought that into their lessons. So it can give you some ideas of how you're going to use it in your lessons. Now, whenever you search for something in the gallery, the best place to start isn't by going through these indexes. It's actually by using the search bar up near the top. You'll notice that I've typed in the periodic table. When I've typed in the periodic table and hit enter or hit the little magnifying glass, it brought up all of the results on the bottom for me. I had some folders regarding the periodic table, a few interactive and multimedia pages, and some other notebook files and pages. If I were teaching chemistry and I were talking about the periodic table, I wouldn't have to go online and grab a picture of it. I could type it up in my gallery, take a picture, and just drag that picture out onto the screen. The way the gallery works is either by double-clicking or by dragging and dropping. Now, the reason why nothing appeared here is because of the fact that this is actually a picture. This item that I have loaded up here is not actually the Gallery tab. The Gallery tab is over here. And this computer just happens to have empty content. But when you load up Notebook for the first time, make sure that you're selecting all of the gallery data to be downloaded. It does take a little while to install, but it'll be worth it in the long run. Let's have a look at some of the gallery stuff that I've downloaded onto this presentation. The first one is interactive notebook gallery pages. What I have brought up here is a page of the periodic table. What I can do is I can explore this table by clicking on elements. As I click on the element, it will bring it up for me. It'll show a Bohr model of the element. It will talk about its symbol and show all of its weights. And I can cycle around to all the different elements and just have a look at these. This is one way in which the developers of the Smart Notebook technology have added in a lot of these things for you. And you can start to create these gallery pages and save them on your own. All right, so this specific gallery page also provides a game for you. If I click on the bottom here on the Find the Elements, well, it would let me know that I'm to now start searching for, and we'll start searching for the 5 elements from the shortest number of guesses and the quickest possible time. So I've got to find fluorine. This is a way of getting students used to checking out the periodic table. There's lots of little games like this for everything other than just the sciences here. But fluorine, let's test my magic here, see if I can get it. Helium. Oxygen. I hope my chemistry teacher is not watching this. All right. So I successfully completed the game, and it only took 5 guesses, so I got them all right. But it did take me 38 seconds. You could have students use this in the classroom just to get familiar with it. Be a great way to have a quiz, perhaps even a great way to start off a lesson. Or if someone's finished, they can always have a record time to try and beat it. So this would perhaps be a good gallery page for somebody interested in working with the grade 9 and 10 science level and getting them used to different elements in chemistry. Now, what if that's not necessarily your thing? What if you want to start making your own interactive pages? What if you want to add animations and sounds and links to other items? Well, it's very easy to do those things. The first item I'm going to talk about is using animations. Every single item that you make, even this text box, can be animated. So for instance, I can have this appear, I can have it spin when I touch it. I can do a number of different features with this item. How I get to that is through its Properties tab. I can either use the drop list and go to Properties, or I can go to the Properties tab after selecting the item. I can change the fill effects, line style, all of the other properties, but I can also go to Object Animation. I can have it fade in. I can show it fading out. I can have it flip around. I can have it fly in when it's touched. I better flip it back so that way it looks like it's making sense there. I can have it spin. So every time I touch using animations now, it's going to spin. If you have an idea that you want students to constantly be focusing on, you want to remind them that, you could have that perhaps as a title or a rule up at the top, and every time you talked about it, get it to spin so it really grabs their attention. But again, make sure that you have your smartboard aligned, so when you're using animations, they're going to pop up for you. With text, you have to make sure that you're touching the very edge of a word. If you're just touching the text box, usually it won't go off. So there we go, we've got one animation down.